So today I want to talk about the business of marriage. Now I know that probably sounds harsh. We could also say the partnership of marriage or viewing marriage as a partnership. It's all the same. As me and my husband are learning and growing and still observing successful marriages like those of our parents, both of our parents, sets of parents have been married for over 40 years. So as we are learning and still maturing and growing in our marital relationship, we are finding that the most successful marriages are that way because both parties view the marriage as a complete partnership. Recently, we were asked to co-host a podcast with some friends of ours called Marriage Matters Monday, and they host a show every Monday, and it's just a great platform that they have developed to share information about love and life and family and how they successfully navigate that. So we were super honored to be asked to share on that. And one of the questions that was posed to us when we were on the show was, what is one large piece of advice that you would give, or one thing about your relationship that you would share with other couples? And as me and my husband thought about it, we both kind of came back to the central theme of partnership, viewing marriage as a partnership. Now, I would probably say that that came more naturally to Michael, my husband, than it did to me, because he is the entrepreneur. He is the consummate businessman. He thinks about the partnership and the business of everything. So it didn't surprise me that that was really how he approached our relationship, even from very early on. And we actually met working together. So that gave us a foundation of partnership before we even tried to form any kind of friendship or relationship. And we didn't even know that at the time. But now, as we look back on it, we see how that really served as a great foundation, working together in a partnership toward a shared goal, how successful that has proven to be in our relationship. Now, I think we can all agree that love just finds us throughout our life, or we find it. Falling in love is a natural human thing that happens to some of us several times over our lifetime, and some of us just one or two times. But the falling in love part is not really the difficult part of maintaining the relationship, because that is going to happen. It's what happens after you fall in love and how the relationship is nurtured and matured that is going to make it successful. So viewing and operating the marriage as a partnership really helps to reduce a lot of the stress and the heartache that can come when problems and issues and life inevitably happen. Life happens. Nobody is going to have a perfect storybook marriage free of problems. But knowing that those will arise and committing to handling them as partners, regardless of what the situation is, can really help to kind of eliminate those pride issues, or at least reduce them. Frustration, anger, resentment. When we understand that we are equal partners in the relationship, it helps us to create a base level for our emotions. It helps us to understand that no one person's emotions, regardless of the current situation, are more important than the others. Because when we're at a base level here, and then when disappointment happens to get one of us off kilter, what we do after that can often make or break the week, the month, and sometimes even just relationships in general. They can be blown apart when we don't bring ourselves back to center and say, hey, we are partners. Let's deal with this as partners. So acknowledging that someone else's feelings, someone else's emotional state, someone else's mental state, mental capacity matters as much as yours does in any given situation. So in times when we find ourselves in places where we need to apologize, again, it is leveling ourselves and saying, I am sorry that I wronged you. It's acknowledging the fact that I wronged you. It's also viewing the marriage as a partnership also helps to manage expectations. It helps you to set a standard of being open, of giving and receiving trust. Expectations are likely to be equal in situations. And then when they're off kilter, creating dialogue, conversations, communication, that's another word that you will hear a lot in successful marriages. So when expectations do vary, it's figuring out how to get on the same page with the expectation, how to meet the needs of the other person, the wants, the desires of the other person. It's learning how to manage the frustrations of the other person, or help manage, because let's also keep it real, we are responsible for ourselves. So each individual in the partnership is also responsible for managing their own emotions. So if we get into a place where expectations don't seem like they are lining up, it's figuring out how to deal with that in the way where we still always feel like partners. We cannot avoid them. We can do our best to try to escape them, even when things are going well financially, when things are going well with the kids. You might be on vacation, you feel like you don't have a care in the world. And oftentimes it's in those times in life where something right around the corner is there to just smack us in the face. But if we understand that regardless of what happens, regardless of what kind of emotional state we are in, or what we feel like may have interfered into our relationship to get us off kilter, it's about coming back to that base of navigating this as partners. And I recently saw a meme that said, marriage isn't 50-50, it's 100-100. Each person committing to giving 100%. It's not about staying in that happy, giggly, just over the moon love phase. It's not about trying to figure out how to stay there, because like I said, life happens. You're not going to reside in that place all the time. But it's about knowing, recognizing, and committing to always being partners regardless of what the situation is. So that's just a little nugget about partnership that has helped us. It really has helped us in our 11 years of our relationship, and those years of that we have been married. And then it especially helps when you factor kids into the equation, because we're doing this together. We need to talk about discipline. We need to talk about schooling. We need to talk about how we're going to handle these things, because we got to show these kids that we are a united front. So just creating a base level partnership at the very beginning of the relationship and committing to that regardless of what life brings, the hills and the valleys and the super high times and the super low times and the times when you're down in the trenches. That's what is most important to say. We are partners. We're going to get through this together. Well, that's just something I wanted to share. I hope that it helps you. It has certainly helped us. And as always, as I always tell you, keep pushing. You've got this.